Ah. Boys, what is going on? We managed to get on. Sorry, it is only my second ever stream on YouTube, and I've been streaming for the last 10 minutes to absolutely nobody. So, welcome to the guys that are waiting. I apologize. I have been streaming this entire time. So, maybe it's been recording. Maybe you got to take a look and see what that looks like. But welcome. I'm not familiar with YouTube. I used to stream on Twitch, so please forgive me. Welcome. This is the Game Week 5 Deadline Day stream. The big news of Game Week 5, Reece James is out. Reece James is out. And I might just change my title quickly. Reece James is out for Game Week 5. What to do, boys? I'm so lucky. So lucky at this point that Reece James wasn't in my fantasy Premier League side, and that I'd managed to wildcard him out, because if he was in my fantasy Premier League side, this could have been a very different discussion. So I'm still a little bit embarrassed for the fact that I was streaming to absolutely nobody, so apologies for that. I'm still working out this YouTube thing. I just want to make sure everything's working, everything's looking solid. We're in a good space, and we can be streaming a little bit of FPL. So, boys, big news of the weekend. I'm going to take my headphones off, actually. Big news of Game Week 5. Reece James is out. He is ill. Now, I don't know whether that means that he is out with a serious illness, or whether he's got a case of the shits, or what it is, but our boy Reece James is out of Game Week 5. He's obviously a massive player for a whole bunch of us. So to think about what we need to be doing with Reece James, interesting to think, interesting to know. In my view, it all depends on your team. So do you have transfers to burn? Have you got transfers to make? Did you save up a transfer? Did you not save up a transfer? And based on that, that's really what should inform your decision. I think a lot of people have not been making transfers, or at least the transfers that they have been making, they haven't been major ones. So yeah, it's really up to you guys as to what to be looking to do. Oh, flip! I just put my own stream on. For my own team, I think I am at this stage lucky enough that I don't need to make a decision with Reece James, which is obviously fantastic. But for those of you who did, oh, it's hard to say. It's a bit like the Zinchenko situation in my mind. Zinchenko was obviously injured in the Friday training session for Arsenal, and really, you need to kind of roll with the punches. I would say, just deal with it. Just deal with the fact that Reece James is injured and out of Game Week 5. And based on that, just roll with it and let your own team dictate what you need to be doing. Looking into my own team for this particular game week, and apologies, I just want to get here to my interaction page. Let's just move this across. Where you at? Where you at, though? I'm playing around with Streamlabs' new interaction page, and it is interesting. Definitely interesting. So let's take a look here. This was previous game week. 82 points. We were looking good. We were looking great. Very, very good. I've got a couple of decisions to make. So the first and foremost, Zinchenko, from the news articles that I've seen, Zinchenko seems to be okay for Game Week 5. So, as much as we were stressed about that Zinchenko injury that came through on Friday, by all accounts, it looks like he's okay. That means that he either doesn't play this weekend and doesn't play today, or miss out today and plays this weekend. So I'm happy to keep him. I don't think he's going to come off the bench, so he's a good person to have on the bench. The real decision that I've got for my team is what to do with Ward, what to do with my boy Hendo, because Man City have looked beyond good in these last couple of days. Holland obviously got the hat-trick. Crystal Palace were all over them, and it was 2-0. They kind of employed the exact same tactics that were employed against them in the previous game by getting attacked. And what we saw was Man City wasn't really able to deal with the pressure that was put on them. Having said that, Crystal Palace tried to do the same tactic, and then Man City went, how about no? And ended up with the Holland hat-trick and winning 4-0. So 4-2. So I'm not sure. That's one of the things that I need to decide. The other thing to decide is whether or not to play Andreas. He could potentially play ahead of Tony. Brighton have looked very good. Very, very good. Fulham has also looked good. Brighton's obviously a very attacking team, so that's obviously being factored in my mind. Does it make sense to put forward a Fulham player ahead of the Brighton fixture? It could do. It could do. It's something I've got to think about. Something I've got to think about ahead of this deadline. I've obviously just played my wild card, so there's a lot to think about in terms of what I need to do in this particular game week, because with the wildcard being played, there shouldn't really be issues. The only thing is Pippin Zinchenko that picked up an injury. I'm very happy. Why do I see there's a Trippier flag? What is this? Where did this come from? Kieran Trippier. Oh, boys. I swear to Moses if this is a thing. Oh, I'm going to be very upset if this is a thing. Let's take a look. Kieran Trippier. News. 1 week, 23 hours. What? Why is there a flag on Kieran Trippier? Alex Saint-Maximin is a injury doubt, but what do they say about Trippier? So, Alan is a worry. He felt his hamstring late in the game when he was sprinting back trying to save the goal. Kieran Trippier should be fine. I'd say he should be fine. Bruno Guimaraes has also made a positive start to the campaign at the heart of midfield. There's also a doubt. Okay. That's interesting. I think that also should tell you something about what to do with your captain decision. To me, it's simple this week. We know Haaland is in form, but if there's ever a game week to rest Haaland against, it's this one. And what is the next game week? Man City plays Villa. I mean, it's another terrible side. Forest at home. Play Haaland, take him off early? I don't know. Could be. Play Haaland, take him off early. That could be one of the considerations that Pep has to make. But to me, to go against Salah when Liverpool so obviously looked so much better with Fabinho in the side, it's something to think about. Scotty Parker's also been bulleted, which makes me think that Bournemouth had issues ahead of game week 5 that we weren't sure about and could potentially inform what we should or shouldn't be doing in that particular space. Okay. While we wait, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do my predictions. I think that's the only logical thing to do. We'll fire up from here. Are you fired up? Just because this wasn't working. The Super Brew page was not working when I was trying to display it in the same way as the Premier League. So let's take a look here. Round 4. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, taking a look at game week 4 and how we did in our predictions. So this is a reaction video. It was my first prediction of the campaign. A bit late on the whole thing, but that so be it. We look ahead. I so badly needed Man United to lose this last game. I really did. In my heart of heart, I just wanted the entire ship to fall over. Having beaten Liverpool, all I wanted was for Man United to lose this game. They managed to win 1-0. They didn't look that convincing yet again. I know that it's back-to-back wins for Erik ten Hag. but it's Southampton. Let's be honest, Southampton are almost relegation fodder. So this 1-0 win, I know I picked 2-0. It was mainly because from that Liverpool game, we could have seen that Man United were on a turnaround trajectory. So Ten Hag seemed to have gotten some of his thoughts through in terms of how he wanted to play. Casemiro hadn't started. I don't actually believe Casemiro started the Southampton game either. But in general, I just wanted the banter to continue. I needed my banter bandwagon to continue. Very sad to see that it didn't, but what can we do? 1-0 to United. It's a close result. So I picked 2-0, not too bad. Next result, Everton-Brentford. I couldn't believe this when I saw the result. I didn't get a chance to watch this game. I watched some of the highlights. Brentford looked incredibly poor. They just didn't look like a team that I don't know. It's like they didn't wake up properly that day. They didn't come to work. I honestly thought they were going to thrash Everton and that Frankie Lampard's job would be on the cards. But as it stands, Everton were managed to eke out a win. By all accounts, it looked like a terrible game. So, I don't know. These kind of things happen in the Premier League. The Premier League is actually very unpredictable when it comes to these kind of results, even some of the bigger results. So, I can't be too sad that was the end result for the Brentford versus Everton game. Looking ahead, Brighton Leeds. Honestly, 1-0, and I got the exact result. It was a cagey affair. I watched some of this game. Both teams, it was like the high press against quite a defensive side. They kind of cancelled each other out. I kind of felt that I got quite lucky with this result. We'd said previously that Graham Potter is probably the one manager that would be able to work out the Leeds system. He clearly did manage to do that, and he managed to get that result. Pascal Gross with the goal as well. Pascal Gross was in one of my wildcard drafts, but you can't pick all of them right. But all in all, happy that I managed to get the result exactly right. The next one was 2-1. Chelsea 2, Leicester City 1. Honestly speaking, I think that good old Brendan Rodgers, his job's got to be at risk. It was a 10-man Chelsea side after Conor Gallagher got the second yellow for the red card. In all honesty, Leicester should have gotten more from this game. If you take a look at some of the stats, they dominated possession, they dominated goal attempts, shots on goal, all of the good measures. But to not be able to get anything out of a game against a 10-man side, I know it's Chelsea, but Chelsea's been out of form, really does not paint a great picture for Brendan Rodgers. In general, I thought they were going to thrash Leicester. They picked up that red card. The fact that they managed to get a win says more about Brendan Rodgers and Leicester than it does about Chelsea. 9-0. Liverpool won 9-0 against Scotty Parker's Bournemouth. Scotty Parker was also fired today. Scotty Parker obviously used to be ex-Fulham boss, so a bit close to my heart that he's been bulleted again. It looked almost as if there was something that was happening behind the scenes that we were just not aware of. And perhaps that's what led towards this 9-0 result. In general, Liverpool looked unstoppable. They dominated every facet of the game. It could have been 10, probably should have been 10. They've equaled the record. I don't think that Bournemouth should have fired Scotty Parker. I think that's an insane decision. And I think any team playing against Bournemouth, you've got to back them. I just can't see Bournemouth picking up anything from any of these results. So I went 2-0 simply because Bournemouth obviously looked quite good against City. Who could have predicted a 9-0 result? Who could have predicted that Mohamed Salah would not get one single attacking return in a 9-0 result? Absolute madness, absolute insanity. Man City 4, Crystal Palace 2. I got the Man City part right. I didn't get the Crystal Palace part right. Wow. Crystal Palace nearly caused one significant upset in this game. Palace in general look like a great side, and Zaha being out and them still being able to get those kind of attacking contributions like they've been getting. It's pretty impressive. It's impressive from a Crystal Palace perspective, and I think it leans a lot towards what Crystal Palace is going to be looking at and going to look like in future. They're looking like a very good team and something to keep in mind for some future predictions. Man City just had too much though. Erling Haaland, I was listening to a podcast, I think it was Football Ramble. They were talking about all these players keep complimenting Haaland's movement. The guy is always in the right place. Haaland's movement. But is it Haaland's movement? I think it's just the fact that he knows exactly where to position himself in order to get these goals. He reminds me a lot of Ibrahimovic, even Berbatov. Do you remember Berbatov? Ex-Fulham player, obviously went through to United. He just ends up in the right place in the right place at the right time, and he's just got it. He's just got that X factor to be able to score anything and everything. He's fast, he's big, he positions himself well. He's one of the top finishers. I think we're going to see Erling Haaland easily getting the Golden Boot this season. And overall, I was very happy to captain it. I don't know how it landed on the right-hand side of captaining Haaland, but that's what happened, and I'm very happy for it. Arsenal 2, Fulham 1. I did a watch-along for this particular match. If you guys are interested, I do watch-alongs every single weekend and some of the weekday matches. It was a park the bus kind of performance from Fulham. I think Arsenal had in excess of 70% of the possession. All 3 goals were shit. They weren't great. They weren't great goals. I'm gonna have to bleep that part out. We had Mitrovic poaching a goal to be able to get that goal from for Fulham. Then the other goals were just it just didn't feel like a free-flowing game. Arsenal probably deserved the result, but both teams seemed a bit off. Mitro with another goal. He's got to be in our considerations for our FPL side, and I'm so happy as a Fulham supporter to be seeing the boy scoring goals in the Premier League. He set a championship record. He's come up to the Premier League. I think that we could see him easily score more than 12 goals this season. Aston Villa versus West Ham. Now, this to me was a coin flip. I probably have to look back at some of my comments around the prediction to be able to react exactly as to what I said for this particular result. I think that I thought that the Aston Villa squad would have too much for David Moyes and the West Ham boys. I was clearly proven wrong, and it points very much towards Steven Gerrard just not being good enough. That squad is phenomenal. Back to front. Martinez in goal. They've got 2 of the best wing backs in the Premier League in Cash and Digne. They've got fantastic full centre backs. The attacking players look fantastic. They've got rotation options. Watkins, Ings, Buenada. They've got Coutinho in that side. It just doesn't seem to be clicking. And for a squad as good as Aston Villa to be performing as badly as they are, there's everything about Steven Gerrard and very little about Aston Villa. I think that after Scotty Parker, Steven Gerrard might be the next manager sacked. You guys better clip that. Wolves, Newcastle. I watched a little bit of this game. Newcastle looked better. Wolves looks better. Newcastle looked poor. I'd picked a draw in this one. It was a draw. I think it was the Saint Maximum goal. I think it was Saint Maximum. Was ridiculous. It was so good. And he's a hell of a player. He's out, apparently, for this particular game week. So Newcastle are obviously weak, and Trippier also has a little flag on him. Look, I predicted a draw, and it was a draw. So not much to be said, except that Wolves looked better than I thought. Sarr looked unbelievable as a keeper. And Jimenez seems to be gaining a bit of form. He got the goal. He had the little eye patch celebration, which I thought was quite interesting. But yeah, I managed to get that result right as well. Last one, Tottenham, Nottingham Forest. When Henderson saved that penalty against Kane, I was celebrating. Mostly because I captained Holland. I wanted to get some great gains around my rest of my competitors, having pulled my wild card so early. I was 1 goal off. If you'd converted, I would have gotten this result spot on. But in my heart, I was just, Henderson, come on, my boy. So it was just one of those games. Forest, they've signed 21 players in this season. I think the limit is 25. Something's got to give at some point. It's feeling like they've invested so heavily in the squad and nothing's happening from it. I think the worst thing that Forest could be doing right now is firing the manager. They've got to back him. There's been some tough fixtures. Man City's been in that run. Forest has been in that run. Man City's next, sorry. Tottenham's been in the last game. They've got to back the manager. They've invested heavily. They've now got to back the manager. So, look, I got it right. Pretty happy about that. So, yeah, we'll take a look at the summary. Is it the summary? Did I just do the summary? You want to show me the summary? Okay, we'll just go through it quickly. I got Southampton correct and close. I got the Brentford game wrong. Brighton was right. Chelsea was right. Liverpool's right. Man City right. Arsenal I got wrong. This was my team. Obviously, Fulham being my team, I wanted to pick one bogey result. That was the one. I got the Aston Villa game wrong. Like I said, Gerrard's probably going to go. West Ham Villa, I got the draw right, but not the score. And Tottenham, same thing. Got the result right, but not the score. Awesome. Looking ahead to game week 5. We start off with my boys, Fulham. Playing Brighton. It's at Craven Cottage. Brighton have looked very good, but to be fair, Fulham have been very unlucky and have been worth more points than what we're on at the moment. I don't think we deserved much out of Arsenal, but we certainly deserved at least one of these draws to turn into a win. I'm going to go again against the odds, probably against my better judgment, but because it's Fulham, because they're looking good, I'm going to say that Fulham's going to come out with a 1-0 result over Brighton. Mitrovic with another goal. Maybe Andreas. He's in my fancy team. Next game, Crystal Palace against Brentford. Brentford looked pretty bad in their last game, which is surprising. Very, very surprising. Potentially Fulham might have taken a bit of steam out of their sails or wind out of their sails, and that could be why that result didn't look so great. But Crystal Palace is a far more attacking side, so we could see a far more open game. Tony getting into a bit of space. He seemed to be off in that last particular game. Crystal Palace is still missing Zaha. They can't get up week in, week out without their talisman. I'm going to go for a 2-0 Brentford. 2-1. 2-1 Brentford result. Next game, Chelsea-Southampton. Chelsea was 10 men down, which was 10 men against West Ham. Wasn't West Ham. What am I talking about? Leicester. Sorry. 10 man against Leicester, and Leicester weren't able to do it. Having said that, I think Woodward was struck twice. Leicester probably got a bit unlucky. I think they've got a suspension for this particular game. They haven't looked great. Southampton, though, I still think are the guys to beat. They are the relegation fodder for this particular season. It's a tough one to call. Very, very tough one to call. Sterling's looking in form. The wing backs are good. James is out, though. James is out. I think Chelsea's going to win, but it's not going to be convincing. It's going to be 1-0. Everton Leeds. This one's easy. I honestly think Leeds is going to thump Everton. Thump them. Frank Lampard is not playing as a manager in the relegation zone. He is playing out from the back often, and Leeds with their high press could cause some significant issues for Everton. I think we're going to see some goals from Rodrigo. We might see a couple of headed goals just from the sheer pressure and the corners that are won. I think it's easily going to be a 4-0 result. Maybe I'm being a bit over-ambitious. Maybe I want Rodrigo to do well. I think it's be 4-0. Woo! Bournemouth. Damn, I don't know. They've sacked Scotty Parker without a replacement. This is a squad in disarray, but we've seen it in previous seasons where they do these things. They fire the manager, but the team manages to bounce back even without that manager. I don't think it's going to happen in this particular game. I don't think that the players are going to get up and go, we can make a name for ourselves beating Wolves. I think we're going to see a convincing 3-0 win by Wolves, compounding Bournemouth's issues. I think the fact that they got rid of Scotty Parker this early on in the season is going to be their downfall. They've signed their own death warrant. Unless they sign somebody crazy before this Thursday game week deadline, I think we're going to see Bournemouth comfortably in the bottom. Arsenal Villa, an easy one to predict as well. Villa have looked terrible. Stevie G, like I said in the predictions, he looks like a manager that's out. He's probably the next on the chopping block. So from my perspective, Arsenal should win this one comfortably. Jesus with a brace, I'd say. Hopefully Zinchenko starts. Maybe he can get some of the attacking returns in this particular game. City against Forest. Now the first one is interesting. Erling Haaland played on the weekend. Pep Guardiola said he's not going to play back-to-back games. He's playing the next weekend. How do we go against him, but how do we go against Salah? So I think that we're probably going to see Erling Haaland start. He's probably going to get taken off at 60 minutes. Let's say 60 minutes in preparation for the weekend. He might miss the weekend. Or he might not play at all and Alvarez starts. Who can predict him? There's just no logic behind what he does. I think that the prediction is that Haaland will be benched. Alvarez will start. And he will come on with 10 minutes to go and grab a goal. That's my opinion. I think they'll beat Nottingham Forest 4-0. West Ham against the Tottenham. David Moyes managed to pick up a win against a very poor Aston Villa side. I don't think that they can replicate that kind of performance. Aston Villa looked very bad. I think that comfortably Tottenham wins this one 3-0. I know I'm going high scoring. I just think it's going to happen. Liverpool against the Castle. So I'm going to go with Salah captain this game week. I think it would be silly not to. His underlying numbers are there. He's missed a couple of open chances. I think this will be the week for him to bounce back. Newcastle might be missing Trippier. Newcastle, while they've been looking good for some of their results, the fact that Wolves managed to score against them, I think that we'll see a comfortable 3-0 Liverpool win. I've gone so high with all of these games. Leicester United. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. Harvey Barnes scored in the last game. I know that against 10-man Chelsea, they weren't able to get anything out, but it's about damn time. Not to quote a famous song. I think that Leicester is going to be able to pull it back. So this will be my upset of the weekend, I think United are fragile. They're due another bad result. I think 1-0 Leicester could happen. And that's my game week picks. Let me know what you guys think. If you guys enjoy this kind of content, subscribe and tune in for the next one. Right, we have 33 minutes to go until the game week 5 deadline. We're going to go back to the FPL content. We did our predictions. Let's have a discussion about what we're looking at. What I love to do is I like to take a look at who's been transferred and who's been transferred out. Let's start with transferred out for the game week. Unsurprisingly, with this injury being picked up, Zinchenko is the most transferred out player. I mean, with 10 million managers, I find it staggering how many players are making so many of the moves that we're seeing. Almost 1 million managers have sold Zinchenko. He's fallen in price. Makes me sad after I brought him in the last game week. I read an article earlier, and the article seemed to indicate that Zinchenko was going to be all right. I'm going to say he either plays tonight. Look, now I've got to check. Is it night? Are my jams playing? Jams are playing. I accidentally opened League of Legends. Forgive me. Check my jams are playing. Okay, beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. Sorry, let me just not let the League of Legends spoil this. Check here. Okay. Oh. So let's just check. Fixtures. Arsenal playing tomorrow. Even better. I think Zinchenko starts. I think they took him off as a precaution. I think he'll be fine. That's my honest opinion. So yeah, let's roll with it. I think we keep him in. As it stands at the moment, I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to roll the transfer. I don't think there's any need after the wild card to do anything drastic. I'm in a position where I've got some of the players that the other players don't necessarily have. If Rodrigo scores again, let me tell you something. He's shooting up in value. He is shooting up in value. What are we looking at for Rodrigo as it stands? I mean, flipping everybody transferred in Rodrigo again. Did he go up in value again? Oh, he's only gone up in value yet again. Let's take a look. Oh, he's gone up in value again. Didn't even score. What the flip? If he scores, and if he gets a double-digit haul in the next game, I think that we're going to see Rodrigo easily, and I mean easily, get another 2 million odd managers, bring him in, and he's going to go up to 6.7. He'll be 6.7. Then how's anybody going to get him into their team? So that's my prediction. If Zinchenko starts and he scores, everybody will transfer him back in. Pretty yo-yo with FPL, you know. Salah. I'm just gonna say it. I mean, who was the player of the week? Was it Jesus? Everybody sold Jesus. Wasn't it this one? It was. I think Jesus was the most sold player of game week 2. I think it was. He scores 19 points against Leicester. Then you look further on. Where was this? He wasn't the highest scoring player, but Alexander-Arnold was one of the most sold players. 386,000 managers, and it's that's lost. I mean, it's net almost 600,000 managers. No, it's net almost 700,000 managers sold Alexander-Arnold. 17 points. How's your mother? What a job. I mean that's just pretty classic. So how can you call trends based on that? Because there's no logic behind the trend. But I think Salah's looked off, but he's been in the right positions. It takes a goal, it takes an assist, it takes that moment of fierce, and suddenly he's straight back into it. So to me, selling Salah at this stage is just not the right move. Boys, it's just not the right move. So if you're thinking about making that move, reconsider. I don't think that makes the world of sense. But we'll keep looking. This is a player I'm not surprised if people are taking out. He started off well, 711 points, but ever since then, 0 and a 1 point return for a player that cost you 7 million. Not only that, his underlying numbers have looked poor. Alexander-Arnold has been able to keep up those underlying numbers, and in general, I think that he's going to be fine. I think he's going to be perfectly fine. I think it's a mistake taking Cancelo out. He's another one of those players that just needs to click, just needs to fire. Sunny boy. Now, Richarlison, my boy, has been subbing on for Son relatively early on in the piece. So I think this is a good move. I don't know who you're moving him to, but in general, I think that's a good move. And then lastly, Louis Zaha. What is the injury update on old Zaha? What's the problem with you, my boy? Zaha injury. Fresh injury update. It's fresh, boy. Oh, if you guys haven't seen that clip is flipping fantastic. Let's take a look here. Right. Pep Guardiola dropped another hint that Erling Haaland could be rested for Man City's game against Forest by stating that his understudy, Julian Alvarez, is ready to step in. When Erling doesn't play, Alvarez is going to play. Guardiola said on Tuesday. All of us are really impressed for his pace. It's broken English. For the sense of the goal, the work ethic, for many things. When pressed on whether Haaland would play against Forest, Guardiola replied, "You will see tomorrow." Right. Classic Pep. It is what it is. I don't know. Patrick Vieira, on the other hand, was non-committal on whether Wilfried Zaha and Mitchell would return to Crystal Palace's starting lineup for the visit of Brentford, but did confirm that both players have trained this week. Wow. This could be another one of those where you've transferred out Zaha and then he comes back to bite you in the air. Newcastle will be without Saint Maximin. Okay. And then, I don't know if he said anything about Trippier. No, I think Trippier will start. Zinchenko. Arteta has confirmed the duo will remain unavailable for Wednesday's game against Aston Villa. Ugh. I don't think so. When asked whether they could return, we still have to make another scan, especially on Thomas, to see the length. But I don't think they will be available. It is a similar area to the one that kept Partey out last season, but hopefully not as bad. Buggers, man. That is bad news. I hope this isn't some clickbait article, but that's not great. Richarlison has made a big impact as a substitute for Spurs in recent matches and could be pushing Song Hyun on for a starting place given the South Korean subdued start to the campaign. Now every time he's playing for 20-30 minutes, he's playing very well. An assist for Harry Kane against Notts. For sure, the next games you could see him in the starting 11. I mean, if Son is out, that could be very interesting. If we see Son out, that could be interesting. Reece James could be missing. Yeah, we've seen that he is missing. Okay. That's my reaction to Zaha. Shit. Man, this Zinchenko thing is irritating. What would I do though? Hey, I'm not on the right page for you. What would I do? Okay. So, Zinchenko to who? The Lieber? Nah, I don't have to do that. Emerson? What are their fixtures? Not looking fantastic. No Fulham's fixtures term. Do you want a Fulham player? I don't know if you want a Fulham player. Surely not. I don't think that makes a lot of sense. I think we stick with it, man, and you hope that the Trippier's okay. Oh, that is annoying. Zinchenko being out is very annoying. I'm not gonna lie to you. Not gonna lie to you at all. I think that really will put a massive dampener on the weekend. Really will put a massive dampener on the weekend. Come on, man. Come on. Okay. If I look at some of the other fixtures and what I would be targeting. So let's say we're making a wild card for this particular game week. Some of the things that I would be looking at is one, targeting the weak teams. Weak teams, in my opinion: Everton, Villa, West Ham, Bournemouth, Forest. So I would center a lot of my wildcard decisions around those picks. But it's up to you. It's difficult to say whether or not that makes the most sense. But that's what I would do. I would certainly not sell Salah. Would not sell Trent. Yes, as much as it pains me to admit that selling Diaz was a major mistake, I think selling Diaz was a major mistake. Very interesting. And Bournemouth. I mean, honestly, what is Wolves' fixtures looking like? Where's the fixture ticker? Fixture ticker. A hard word, eh? I mean, what's Wolves' fixtures? Bournemouth, Southampton, then Liverpool and City back to back. Oh, Lord. Is it worth going for a Wolves player just for a 1 week punt? I think it could be. Definitely. I mean, this Bournemouth game, they're in a house on fire, and I think people are just going to run for the exits. And if they haven't run for the exits, they're going to just let this ship sink. I think we should be targeting Bournemouth. Who's Bournemouth playing in the next couple of game weeks? Oh my soul. How's this for a fixture run? Oaks, have you seen this fixture run? I've got to show this to you. Take a look at this for a fixture run. Hope this comes up. Okay, we go Bournemouth. Ah, my soul. I might have to go all the way to our final one. Look at this fixture run. That is what is known as a joke in the industry. The Bournemouth are the weakest and shittest side, sorry for swearing, in the Premier League, and that is the fixture run that they're faced with. Like I was honestly, I was hoping to see a Spurs in there. Perhaps we would see Brentford, maybe Fulham. Fulham is in there, and Brentford. I mean, are those easy fixtures? But anyway, if I were you, I would be targeting Bournemouth completely. I would make almost my entire decisions and transfers based on targeting Bournemouth. That's my opinion. That's what I would do. I mean, Wolves not a particularly attacking side, but damn, Forest, Brighton, Albion, Newcastle, Brentford, Leicester, Fulham, Southampton, West Ham, Tottenham only in game week 14. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 fixtures are against very, very, very significantly poor sides. That is amazing. That's honestly, that's amazing. That blows my mind. Blows my mind. Okay. But that's what I would do. Target Bournemouth. Wow, that's insane. That is insane. We've got 19 minutes to go, guys. I'm pretty happy with the squad in general. The only thing that I'm thinking about is whether or not to swap this. Danny Ward. I actually think that's worth doing. I said it in my predictor video earlier. I think that there's another Man United upset coming. So I think that's worth checking out and worth considering. Guys, I'm just quickly going to share this link. Oh no, it is the last. It's the last stream. There's no real point in sharing the link at this stage. But I tell you, the Zinchenko injury, that's... Oh, man, that is annoying. That is super annoying. Super, super annoying. Who've they got? Who've they got? I mean, this was the fixture that I was targeting. Then United over the weekend. I mean, United off. Crap. Everton, Brentford. I mean, it really, it's getting to that point where it's like, do you or don't you? Let's check Twitter. I think that'll help inform this particular decision. Let's check Twitter. Let's check Twitter here, bro. Take a look here. If we check out on Twitter, Zinchenko. What have they got to say? Latest. Zinchenko to Gabriel or any other suggestion? Had to switch out Zinchenko with Saliba. It's a good side. This guy's got a very nice side. I tell you, Mitrovic playing against Brighton and Albion, he's just looking like a great option. Fantastic little option. Jesus and Zinchenko crazily low. How can Nketiah has an inner? I think Zinchenko still. That's interesting. That is interesting. What does Andy have to say? My boy, did you tweet anything out? James to Dunk, then Gabriel to Jay. Boys, this is a conundrum. I was sure Zinchenko was going to play. Honestly, I was sure that Zinchenko was going to play, but that is a pity. What about Holland? That's another person we got to check out. Erling Haaland, Erling Haaland. Okay, let's take a look. Let's take a look. Man, Twitter's also shit, man. I also have this feeling that he's going to start tomorrow, but like, Citizens addicts, Alvarez and Haaland start Man City's predicted lineup. Oh, maybe there's FPL team news, fantasy football. Yeah. Maybe there's something there. Here we go. Take a look here. What do they have to say? Liverpool, Newcastle, Villa, Forest, Leicester. Is that it? Oh, God. GW5. Wait, no, man, there it is. Guardiola, yeah, I mean, Guardiola says Gundogan had a flippin' leg injury. No, man. This is too many injuries for my boys. Honestly. Okay. We have 13 minutes to go. So let's start making some decisions around what to do. So the goalkeeper decision, we've just got to decide. I mean, if you look at Ward's BPS, he's getting worse. He had single-digit BPS against Chelsea. His ICT index for goalkeepers is 18, bearing in mind there's only 20 keepers. What are all them keepers? Versus Henderson, who's number 1. Two-0 gets Ward 1 point. 4-0 with 2 save points gets Henderson 1 point. Boys, this is a no-brainer, man. We stick with Henderson, man. It was part of what we thought. I wanted to target these fixtures, and look at this. With Leicester in and amongst that, that is just, it's a sea of green. It's beautiful. So, I'm going to let my hair down. So I think that the Henderson decision, I think it picks itself. Okay. Hair down. Henderson stands. Trent picks himself. Zinchenko is not going to play. Ah, that hurts. But knowing that, early transfer, avoid the price fall, transfer him back. That's a lot of price falls for nothing, though. That is pain. Perisic picks himself. Rodrigo picks himself. I think Rodrigo's going to do flipping well against Everton. When do they play Everton? Please say tonight. Oh, they play tonight. I might keep an eye on that fixture. Gundogan apparently was injured. I think he's going to be fine. I think he's going to be good. Martinelli's great. Captain Salah or Holland. He had minus BPS in the last game. Holland at 73 BPS. Player in form. It's not that Salah's out of form. Weak in Forest. Weak in Newcastle. It's a gamble, because the problem is if Holland doesn't start, then we're going to be in a position where he might come on for 10 minutes. 10 minutes of Holland. Nah, got to be Salah. Tony against Palace. I mean, he looked so bad. Also, another bloody minus 1 BPS. Look at the fixture on. Guys can't even see what I'm looking at. I'm being a bloody punani. Sorry, guys. Sorry, guys. This was what I was looking at. Fixtures. Gabriel. Jesus. But just got that Man United fixture. I think he's going to do well. Trippier. Gets subbed on for Zinchenko. Andreas for Haaland. Nico Williams on the bench. Guys, I think that's it. I think that's the team. I don't think there's anything else to do. I think that's it. Oh! Oh, that's close. Why is that so close? Sorry, guys. Professional, busy editing my scene while in the stream. I don't know why that was so close. Guys, with very little to do, I am going to call the stream early tonight. Thank you so much for tuning in. For more content, please consider dropping a subscribe so you can see when I go live. I am going to do as many deadline streams as I can. I'm definitely going to do tons of watch along. So there's plenty of awesome content to come. I hope you guys do very well in the next game week. We see plenty of points. My boy Salah, I'm backing him. I think a lot of the managers are going to give up on him. And in general, thanks so much for tuning in.